Okay, so we're gonna dive into lesson 2. Yesterday we talked about, or you talked about, the central tendency, so mean, median, and mode. So today we're gonna talk about trimmed mean and what it means. So looking at this one here, Mr. Jimenez and his 19 factory employees from are like, these are their hourly wage. These are their hourly wage. Okay, so the 19 employees are earning $11. A lot of them are earning $11. A few people are earning $12 an hour. 2 people are earning $13 an hour, and then one person is earning $14 an hour, and then one person is getting $550 per hour. I wish that's me. Huh? That's the boss thing, right? That's a boss. Yeah, he's the one earning lots. So Mr. Jimenez is the one making the $550 an hour. Including his extremely different wage skews off the results. So if we calculate the mean for this, the average, it looks like it's such a huge number, right? And a big average. So now what is an outlier? So outlier is a value, a number that is much larger or much smaller than what's normal, the rest of the data. So when outliers occur, okay, because sometimes when we get information, when we get information, get statistics, get data, we're gonna get something that's extremely low or extremely high. So what we need to do is we're gonna have to do a trimmed mean. So the word trimmed, okay, we know what trimmed means. Like, trim means to cut off. Trim, like, so when we cut off or chop off other data that really are way too big and way too small, then the data, the average would be a little bit easier to, more towards what's normal. So for example here, determine the trimmed mean of the data above if you trim the top and bottom score. So here what we're going to do is we're going to trim the top and also trim the bottom. So why are we doing top and bottom? We want to make sure that we have an even trim, right? We're not just taking out the highest, but we're also going to take the highest and lowest. So when we look at this part here, because this is the one that we're going to look at, we're going to trim out 550, the highest, and we're also going to trim the bottom score. The bottom score would be the lowest. I guess one of the 11s. Okay, so this is the highest, 550, that we're going to trim out, and then we have the lowest one we're going to trim out. Now we're left with all of these 11s, a few 12s, 13, and then 114. So let's add them up. So trimmed mean. Trimmed mean, we're going to add up all of what remains. Add up whatever is remaining. Sum of the data. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you add them up, I'm just gonna do it this way, because if I keep like 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11, it's so many 11s, I'm gonna have a hard time keeping track, right? So is it okay if I go 11 times 12? Is that okay? Because now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 11s. How many of them? 12. Plus, we have 12. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 3 of them. Plus 13, how many of them? 2 times 2 plus 14. So it's 208. Did you get 208? Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could do it the long way, right? Like 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 12 plus 12, right? So 208. Now, how many are there now? There's 2. It used to be 20. Now there's going to be just 18. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Because it used to be 20 data, but now we trimmed the lowest and the highest, so now we're down to 18. So 208 divided by 18, that's going to give us an average trimmed mean of 1156. So this one is more realistic average for all of the people that works in this factory, $11.56. Okay. So do you think the trim mean is a better approximation of the average hourly wage at this factory? I said yes, because 1156 1156 represents the entire data, right? It's super close to the other data that we have. So yes, because 1156 represents our entire data. Is that good? Let's take a look at next one, example 2. Example 2, the following data shows Elsie's test result. Oh, my test result in science. Oh, okay, wow. So it says here, calculate the mean test mark. So if I calculate my average, my mean, I would have to add them all up, right? Add them up, 87 plus 93 plus 88 plus all of these data. So add them all up. So let's do that. So 584. So if I add all of my test scores here, I'm gonna get 584. And how many tests did I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tests. So 584 divided by 8. Oh, I think I'm gonna not, yeah. 73%. So that's my average, right? That's my average if I take all of my data and then, yeah, that's my average. Now for part B, what if we do a trimmed mean? Trimmed mean, so that means I'm gonna get rid of the highest. So I'm gonna get rid of my highest. My highest is 93, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. Oh, cross that off. I'm gonna also do an even trim. So if I take out the highest, I also need to take out the lowest. So my lowest I see is 12. So cross off the 12. We're gonna trim these two values, the lowest and the highest. So let's do that. So trimmed mean. So what does that look like now? We're gonna add up all of the ones that didn't get trimmed. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna get a lower sum, 479. It makes sense, it's a lower sum because I trimmed some numbers, right? But what am I gonna divide by? It used to be 8, now I trimmed to 2, so I'm gonna have just 6. So 479 divided by 6, divided by 6, and in my average is now 79.83%. So, okay. So which mean, the normal mean or the trim mean, do you think is a better indication of Elsie's test performance in class? Maybe this one here, I had a really bad day and I didn't do a good job on that one. So which one's a better indication of my performance? I'd probably say the trimmed mean. Because it does not take into account the outlier. Maybe that's just one bad day. Is that good? Yeah. This is the last example. Like I said, it's a very short one. So your friend Denise was trying to calculate the trimmed mean of the following data. So this is the data. 68, 17, 67. Okay, good. And her work is shown here. So they take off, crosses off, and then add them up, divide by 4. Yeah, that's great. The answer does not match the answer key. Oh, okay. Well, apparently there's an answer key to this. So what do you think the problem is? Yeah, that's right. It didn't take out the highest and the lowest. They took the two ends, well, but these are not the highest and lowest. So let's see if we can figure it out. So, let's write that down. So the answer is wrong because Denise did not trim the highest and the lowest. Okay. So they just took the two ends and that's it. So what do you think the answer should be if it was the case? If we were to do this right, the answer would be different. So we're going to take the lowest. This is the lowest, the 17. And we're going to take off the highest, which is 93. Okay, so we're going to trim those two values. And then we have these 4 values remain. So let's figure out the correct trimmed mean. So the correct trimmed mean, add them up. Okay, so 291 divided by 4, because there are 4 data left. The answer is 72.75. Okay. And I don't know what this data is, so I can't tell you what unit we need to use in here. So we're just gonna leave it 72.75. What do you think of that? Is okay? Oh, I know you're not. You're doing your test. Okay, that's good. Okay, we finished that part. There's some questions for you to try in here. That's our practice questions. And then after the break, we're gonna really speed things through, and we're gonna probably just do one lesson a day. It's not too bad, right? Yeah, these ones are not too bad. So leave it to that one. Give you some time to work on those practice questions.